well, he's dead now. Ernie Garside.
Oh, that's the
Anyway,
best man.
Dave was at the reception. She was at the reception with that Dave.
Yeah.
It was just social, because they sent Dave up to meet the Americans, and he shook his hand. He said, I was originally from England when I was 19 or something. He said, I understand you're from Wales. Right, so this was Dave. Something like that, or just an opener. Dave had a bit of a stammer. He said, well, mind me asking who have you been with? He said, well, I've been off and on 5 years with Benny Goodman. And Dave went, well, that's like told of God. Then he said, I was 3 years with Louis Armstrong. And he said, so like, Lionel's got to pull his finger out. Something like that. But they're fantastic guys.
Did you talk to him?
Of course I did. Well, she became my friend. Irv Manning. He had two names, Irv Leodore, Irv Manning. Do you know George Shearing, the piano player? He was with him for years in New York. He was with Liberace. He did commercial things as well. Liberace, that piano player, that outlandish piano player. He was, well, it was big money, huge money. Commercial. They do all sorts of gigs. But when he told Dave, he said, you were with Benny Goodman for 5 years. He said, shit, we got a ball. He said, oh, we're only musicians. But when we heard them play, this entertainment, it was fun. They were on there to do a working holiday, Mediterranean, with a girl. Whether she was an item with one of the others, I don't know. There was someone else, trumpet player. It was just a mismatch of instruments. And they all sang and they all fooled around. It was entertainment in the Starlight Grill, up in the top, which was an extra restaurant to the main restaurant. It was a nightclub. And we had the gig there, and it was the best. All the other musicians on the boat, they all were so envious of this Welsh band, because we had the quartet up there. We could play anything. In the nightclub, we could play jazz, anything to an extent. Could get away with murder. And we used to play things opposite the Americans and all sorts of funny things. Anyway, Dave got on and said, something about Benny Goodman and Louis. What was Louis? Just asked the initial question about Louis. There was only two other bass white guys who ever played with the Armstrong All-Stars. They were all black. So he was Irv Manning, Irv Leodore, two names. When he was with Shearing, he was Irv Leodore, Irv Manning. It was Mannheim, actually, it was German. It was Dutch. He was a Dutch German or Dutch Mannheim. And he went to New York before the war. His father got him out of the East End of London because of the bombing, and he went to New York and never came back. Well, he did come back, holidays, but he made it straight away because he was a young virtuoso player with Sid Lipton before the war, and he went at 19 to America just before the bombs were going off. Anyway, what happened then? Well, we got to know Irvin, drinking, social, and discovered what their lives were, which was quite an incredible life. That was with, well, he was with all the big bands, but he was with Benny Goodman for about 5 years. He was with other bands, you know, Billie Holiday?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was with, I don't know if he was with Harry James or all these other big bands. When he was with Billy, well, he sang with them all. He played bass for them all. Billie Holiday was tough.
What's his name?
Hmm?
What was his name?
Dave Gill, my piano player.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that's him, yeah.
I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the American band that were on holiday.
No, the American, that was Irv, who came on opposite us in the Starlight Grill.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about them.
No.
Ah.
No, I'll tell you what's happened there. Anyway,
Okay.
he played, they came on and they did one trip. And then we had another band come on. We had several bands, American bands, great experience. American bands come on. Your dad didn't do this because he wasn't in the Starlight Grid. He was very envious because we had the nightclub.
Ah.
We were in the nightclub. Well, he was in the bloody straight orchestra, wasn't he? Playing bass or cello. Cello and bass, I think he had the two on. Anyway, with the straight orchestra in the day. Well, he used to tour around at night. You were allowed to go around, but only the first class. I don't, your dad would have managed to get into the first class, I suppose, shadow a couple of birds. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it was only social. It could only be social. You couldn't touch a passenger. You'd be on a charge. Yeah. Anyway, they came on one trip and I went to Italy with them. These Americans managed to wangle it with Dave that I could have an afternoon off and went to Rome with them. Then we had another band come on when we had several. When we went to the West Indies, we had another American band. We had solo singers, singer with a piano player. You can imagine, huge boat. So got to know Irv and stayed in touch. And when he left the boats, well, he was Eric knew him in the early days. When we left the boat, he kept in touch. I used to phone him up. I said, where are the gigs? Listen to that, what a way to New York. He knew everyone. Well, he was older, he was about 50 then. He played with everyone. All the commercial shows, Broadway, that was his main sort of work because he got a lot of money for that, shows. But he did jazz, Dixieland, big band, all the big bands, everyone. One big band he didn't play with, a white band. Although it became multiracial eventually in the 50s, in the late 50s, early 60s, became a bit more open. You couldn't just have black guys playing with white guys. In the early days it was. It's terrible. Do you know in Harry James, the big man, Harry was told by the government that you can only have Roy Eldridge, a black guy, sitting 7 chairs away from the next one. Can you imagine that? What did Roy Eldridge think? He could only play with a band if he was 7 chairs away from the next white guy. Can you imagine that? And this is a virtuoso trumpet player who was employed by, it was Harry James? No, it couldn't have been Harry. It was, it wasn't Benny, but Benny opened it up. He fought the government. Benny opened it up for a lot of these black things. Who did Roy Eldridge play? Lionel Hampton? It might have been Benny Goodman or one. Look, it doesn't matter. One of the big bands.